All right, happy Friday. Hooray, it's Friday, we made it. Today's lesson is going to be short and sweet, and then you're going to have a lot of time to practice, okay? So this week, we've been learning how to add and subtract fractions, and then we built on that by adding and subtracting from whole numbers. And now today we're going to look at adding and subtracting more than two fractions. So we're going to have multiple fractions. And if you're thinking, this is a little bit intense, I promise it's going to be okay. So let's go ahead and kind of get started. And we're just going to do some practice problems together. So 1/8 plus 3/8 plus 4/8. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, 1/8 plus 3/8 plus 4/8. And I have 3 boxes here. And the reason for the 3 boxes is because I want to solve this in 3 different ways. So the way that I might solve it might be different than the way that you might think about solving it. So the first way, let's look at this together. What's one way you might solve this? One way I might solve it is by just saying, well, 1 plus 3 plus 4 equals 8. So I know I have 8/8, which equals 1. Okay, so that could be one way. Another way you might solve it is by taking 1/8 plus 3/8 and saying 4/8 plus 4/8, which also gives me 8/8, which equals 1. Okay? The other way you might have solved it is you might have said, well, I've got 1/8, and then 3 plus 4 is 7. So 1/8 plus 7/8 is 8/8, which also equals 1. Okay? So those are 3 different ways that I could have solved the same problem. And it's important to note that all of those ways got us to the right answer and all of them are correct. Okay? So let's look at the next one. 1/6 plus 4/6 plus 2/6. This one I'm going to put on a draw it at the end, and I want you to show me the 3 different ways that you would solve this, okay? So practice doing it just like we did above. Now, the only difference is you might get a number greater than 1, and if you do, how can you make it a mixed number? Okay? So I want you to talk to me about that or show me in your draw it. Let's go ahead and look at another example here. So now we're doing subtraction. Okay, I have 1 minus 3/12 minus 5/12. So I'm going to rewrite it. 1 minus 3/12 minus 5/12. So there's a couple different ways you could solve this. First of all, I want to go ahead and rename my 1 whole. 1 whole in 12ths is 12/12. Then I might go ahead and add these two together. Okay, so 5/12 plus 3/12 is 8/12. Now I can subtract 12/12 minus 8/12, which gives me 4/12. Okay, so that might be one way you solve. Okay, another way you might solve is you might say, well, my 1 whole is 12/12. I'm going to go ahead and just subtract 3/12 from that and get 9/12. And then I'm going to take 9/12 and subtract my 5/12, which also gives me 4/12, right? One final way you might have thought about doing it is by adding your 3/12 and 5/12 first. So 3/12 plus 5/12 equals my 8/12. Okay. And then I might have said, well, 8/12 plus what gets me to 12/12? And I know that that is 4/12. So I know that my missing number would be 4/12. Now, some of you might have even taken it a step further because we talked a little bit about this yesterday. And you might have said, how could I get 4/12 into its simplest form? Because 4/12 is still a pretty big fraction. Well, we know if we divide by 4, this would actually be 1/3. So 4/12 in its simplest form would have been 1/3. Okay, very good. Now we have F here, and this is another one that I'm going to have you do on a draw it, and I want you to show me 3 different ways to solve. Okay, the first thing you're going to have to do is break down this number, right? 1 1/5. 1 whole 1/5 is 5/5. And then I have 1/5. So it's actually 6/5 minus 2/5 minus 3/5, okay? So think about that when you're doing your draw it. The purpose of today's lesson is to really just show you that there are more ways to solve addition and subtraction, right? You might have more than one number, and there is more than one way to solve these types of problems. So here in the classroom, we're going to be comparing our work with our friends. And we're going to be talking about our strategies for solving. And I hope to hear from some of you. I'm going to put a question at the end here. And I want to hear from some of you about what your favorite strategy is for solving. Okay, once you complete this lesson and the draw it's at the end, what I want you to do is go into your work for today. And you're going to complete the problem set. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We're in week 7, and today is Friday. So you're going to be looking for anything with a blue dot. You should have the problem set for practice and then an exit ticket for today. So if you click on the problem set, it's going to be very similar to the lesson you just saw. Okay, it's going to give you some problems, and it wants you to just show a way to solve. Okay, so I want you to do all of the problems for practice, and I want to challenge you to practice putting them in their simplest form, okay? Number 2 shows you 2 different ways. Monica solved and Stuart solved. Whose strategy do you like best and why? So that's going to give you a chance to talk to me about what strategy you like, okay? Now, number 3, I'm going to have you guys skip number 3, okay? So I just want you to do number 1 and number 2. And then for your exit ticket, let's take a look at it together just to make sure there is not anything quirky about it. So let's see. If I go to the exit ticket for today, it wants you to solve the following problem. You can use the number bond to help you. So if your number is larger than 1, make sure you show me a mixed number. And then number 2, subtraction. So pretty easy peasy. That'll be today's code word, easy peasy. I hope that you found this lesson to be quick and easy, because I know you guys like quick and easy, but I hope you challenged yourself to really think about your fractions and make sure they were either in their simplest form, or if they were an improper fraction, I hope that you were able to change them over to a mixed number. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Remember, Monday is a virtual day, so we will be having virtual class together. You should refer to your calendar, but math that day will be at 8:30. Okay, if you have any questions, I'm here. Hope you have a great weekend.